Hey, if you'd please join me for the pledge. I'd like to have a moment of silence for the following individuals. Wendy Davenport, a retiree of the North Syracuse Central School District. John Adolfi, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. And George Cobble, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session to discuss 4 personnel matters with no action to follow. Can I have a second? Josh, any question? Sure. That's unanimous. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to reconvene into open session. Do I have a second? Josh, all those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. We're going to move right into presentations this evening. We have two of them. The first one, I'd like to have the folks for the Therapeutic Crisis Intervention for Schools. Come on up. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having us. My name is Darlene Levins. I'm a district behavior.
Leila Fountain. I'm the building principal for Allen Road.
And we're here to just talk to you briefly about therapeutic crisis intervention for schools. This was developed by Cornell and has a strong background in research. There we go. So Cornell started a lot of their work around therapeutic crisis intervention. It actually started in the 80s and it's evolved since then. So we have been able to travel down to Cornell to be trained to bring therapeutic crisis intervention to North. And really what this is providing trauma-informed framework for our district and providing our teachers with some really good professional skills. TCI really was originally started in residential settings, but then our local BOCES started saying, this is research-based and this is something that we could use in our practice. And then in 2012, TCIS, Therapeutic Crisis Intervention for Schools, was born. Most recently, there was an update. Cornell updated the program to include trauma-informed practices. So our latest update that we have here in the district is 19. Basically, what we're looking at is we're providing school staff with safe, effective, and trauma-sensitive skills to manage behavioral challenges. We're also looking at developing a learning organization and so forth. We wanted to kind of highlight some basic concepts around TCIS2 and why we think it's so great. Basically, it is in compliance with our New York State Ed mandates. We're seeing positive outcomes. So we're seeing that staff feel more equipped or better equipped to handle behavior and create safer learning environments. Also, we're reducing risk. We have community trust and it strictly aligns with our Board of Ed policy.
So as Darlene said, that this policy matches New York State law and it prohibits corporal punishment, seclusion, and prone interventions. TCIS2 does allow for physical interventions for safety critical conditions, life or limb in North Syracuse. It does require annual training for all staff, 6 to 10 hours specifically, immediate documentation and reporting for staff and families, post-crisis response and debrief with staff. And TCIS2 provides the tools, language, and skills to implement this policy with fidelity. In North Syracuse currently, the 24-25 school year, we trained 146 staff. We are committed to offering full certification training up to 4 times per year. So what that currently looks like is a fall session of up to 15 staff members. We prioritize them with administrative support. It is a spring session of up to 15 staff members. And then we offer 2 sessions in the summer because we can really max out on caseloads with 1 trainer for every 10 trainees to up to 30. That said, we did offer 3 separate trainings for transportation priority staff as well, and we had 38 staff members trained in transportation this summer. To build district capacity, we are now bringing on BOCES to assist with maintaining our certifications. We've done a great job as a district to certify up to 146 staff and counting. Every building as of today has a dedicated trainer. So these trainers will assist during half days, professional development, faculty meetings, debriefs as needed. And we will lean on BOCES to supplement 6-hour refreshers using our workplace violence data, building-based data to really craft refreshers that are specific to populations that we serve. North Syracuse will utilize us as needed. So on November 4th, I personally did a training. On October 31st, I trained my building. So we do have embedded opportunities for us as well to maintain all certifications for everyone who wants to keep them. At this time, we will take any questions regarding TCIS 2.
Just a quick one, unless I missed it. So we had TCAS before they numbered them, just TCIS.
Pre-pandemic, we had the first edition of TCIS.
Several staff trained in that.
Yep, we did, and we did send our staff to TCIS 2 because we realized that the upgraded curriculum aligns more with school settings, therapeutic responses, which was very much needed post-pandemic.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just have a comment. I want to thank you both. This training is super important for our staff, but also our kids to be supported in the right. So I just appreciate you both doing that.
Thank you very much. All right, next I'd like to welcome Dawn and her team up for the Syracuse Early Education Program budget presentation. Welcome.
Evening, everyone. I'm Dawn Hussein, principal at the North Syracuse Early Education Program. And tonight I have with me Monica App and Carrie Bucinas. They're both special ed teachers and they co-chair our BPT/Guiding Coalition. So we're going to start off with our BPT presentation and then I'll lead you into our annual budget presentation.
Monica App. Over our building demographic. Enrollment is slightly less than last year, but not a big change. Our classroom makeup is the same. We have 14 classrooms that are special class integrated setting. 5 of those are full day rooms. That means they have students for 5.5 hours a day. They have a total of 16 students. And they have 1 teacher who serves as special ed and general ed, 2 teaching assistants, and a part-time teaching assistant. Our other classrooms, the other 9 classrooms are half-day rooms, so they have a 2.5 session in the morning and then another 2.5 session in the afternoon. 7 of those are the same model as our full-day rooms. And our last 2 classes that were the most recently added are 611 classrooms. So they have up to 12 students and they don't have a part-time teaching assistant. Number of staff has remained pretty consistent from last year. Differences, instead of only serving 10 districts in the county, we are serving 14 districts. We have students from all over Onondaga County, but you can see that the majority of our children are our own North Syracuse students, with 78% of them coming from our district. Our mission and our vision statements. At the start of this year, we really spent some time revisiting these statements, so that our work continues to align with them. We did introduce 2 new curriculums across the school, CKLA and Eureka Math. But while we're trying to implement them, it's also essential that we meet our students at their own individual developmental levels. For preschoolers, whether they're typically developing or whether they're special needs students with Play-based learning is most effective. They learn best when they're given opportunities to make choices, when they can explore, and when they can engage with hands-on materials. To support this, our teachers have used our PLC meetings, our weekly team meetings with their therapists to develop strategies so that we can meet those curriculum objectives, but we can continue to help them develop their language, to help them develop their social emotional skills, and to do all of that through play and developmentally appropriate activities. Families are also very important. They're part of our vision, our mission statements, and both of our new curriculums offer materials that we can send home to the families so that they know what they're working on in school and so that they can continue to support them at home as well as at school.
Our first goal is that by June of 2026, 100% of instructional staff will participate in collaborative team meetings at least bi-weekly to review data and identify support gaps using the MTSS framework. Each team will develop and implement targeted interventions for students demonstrating the greatest need and will monitor and document progress at each meeting to guide ongoing instructional decisions. We're already well on our way to meeting this goal this year. We actually meet weekly. And our half-day teams and our full-day teams separate based on need level in their various classrooms and time constraints. Go over the frameworks for the new curriculums that we're using are the CKLA and the Eureka Math. There's been a lot more consistency in our program this year because of these being added in, which makes it a lot easier for us to work as a PLC together and help each other. Our student support team will collaborate with the instructional teams to analyze behaviors and provide guidance on evidence-based interventions. And they will assist in developing behavior support plans for students requiring tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. The SST will also model and coach staff in implementing consistent behavior strategies and will support classrooms in monitoring student progress. Our SST is helping more with the students who do not have official behavior plans. Some of our students with IEPs already have them in place. So that's something that the SST can also support with if needed, but is often documented.
So this next goal is the graduation goal. And for us, it's always been really working on reducing absenteeism. And we spent some time really thinking about this year because the reality of preschool that our students get sick all the time and manage well, which we've been working on. Preschoolers, it's their first experience in a school environment, in a large group environment. Their immune systems are still developing, so they just spread their germs. They're not good at covering. They're sneeze and cough on everybody. They touch everything. They put it in their mouth, and then they touch everything else. So because of those developmental factors, we decided to switch it from just reducing absenteeism to reducing unexcused absences. We're working to strengthen the communication between the families and the school when a child is absent. We're hoping to help families understand the importance of attending school, even if it's preschool, and when their children are healthy, and also communicating why their children are out when they are absent. And we're hoping if we can establish those habits while they're here with us in preschool, it will continue on and help them when they get to school age. Children that still have chronic unexcused absences, we have a number of layers of support. We have an attendance committee that meets every month, a lot of communication from our principal, from our 2 outstanding school nurses. And we also have a social worker that also helps when we're trying to figure out if maybe there are some other underlying reasons or problems that are affecting attendance so that we can provide the families with any additional support that they might need.
For our math and reading proficiency goal, by the end of the year, we'd like all our students to show a growth of at least 10%, or I'm sorry, 10 points on their speed dial assessment. So the speed dial assessment goes over basic pre-academic skills, and September, we do it again in June, and this also moves on with the children in kindergarten. The kindergarten staff looks at those test scores as well to help with their placements for the children. And to meet this goal of the children gaining 10 points from fall until summer, with all the things that we have in place, we have our Haggerty Phonics awareness program that we're doing, our CKLA curriculum, our Eureka Math curriculum. We also have targeted professional development that we've had on all of these curriculums, as well as our special education developments. Play-based learning experiences are things that we've done all along, that we'll continue to do, with conversations with the kids, and that way they have some more life experiences. It'll just help them to achieve some. We have a pacing guide that we're following, so that way each classroom is on track with one another, which also helps with our MTSS. And we're following our New York State preschool standard. Well,
this is just a quick look at our pre-kindergarten students. What these are our students who are our UPK students, and they are our students who pay tuition. Look at them, that both on the total score and also if you look at the standard score, they made. So now that we're all using the same curriculums, basically our progress. Next slide is for our students who IEPs have special class integrated setting. And these students also, their scores are a little bit lower, but they made the 10 points for the total score. At the standard score, they're very, very, very close to making the 10 points. So whether they're a typical developing student or a special needs student, there's one last thing I'd like to point out on the standard score. For the speed dial, an average range for an average. Look at our children that get special class integrated setting. By the end of the year, they are in that average range. This means is that when they go on to kindergarten and hopefully beyond, they are going to need fewer special ed services because of the time they spent with us.
So by the end of the school year, our goal under the emotional competency is a 20% decrease in social emotional needs as measured by the Devereaux Early Childhood Assessment Tool. The early education program implements the second step curriculum daily across all 14 classrooms. And we use the language of the program across the entire building. So therapy spaces are using it, our social worker, everyone is using the same vocabulary that's built into second step. We do have a school support team that was already mentioned that trains our staff annually on the Handle with Care program. And that team is also on call to support students that are in crisis. We use the electronic version of the DECA, the Devereaux assessment tool, and it focuses on these 4 main areas of development. They call them social emotional competencies. So initiative, self-regulation, attachment and relationships, and behavioral concerns. And what we strive to see in this screening from the beginning of the year to the end of the year is that students move from that needs column to an increase in either typical or strength. And so our goal is a 20% increase or improvement. And in the 24-25 school year, what our building showed was a 38% growth in the total protective factors.
So our celebrations, things that we've been proud of this year are some of the learning opportunities that we've had. We just completed a strength-based approach training for helping autistic toddlers and preschoolers connect by Kate DeBatis, and that was a great help to the staff. We handle with care training to help those students who are supports with some of their behavior, not do TCIS at the preschool level, and our MTSS training for our multi-tiered system of support that we're working with together. All of our students are succeeding. Also had some building upgrades. Our bathrooms have been updated with our stalls are looking a little better these days without tape on them. And our stools have been updated so the children can reach the sinks safely. We have chosen our pilot, from our pilot as the CKLA curriculum. Last year, we tested out Frog Street as well, and we decided that CKLA was the one the school should move forward with. Our PTO has been offering 4 events per year seasonally that have been very well attended and looked forward to by staff and students and their families. We have our social worker this year that was completely funded by Title I. Our Sunshine Committee continues to give us celebrations and fun things so that they care throughout the school year. And we have a lot of new staff members in our building this year that seem to be quite happy.
So they're passing it to me now if you have any questions. If the BPT members are listed here, but if you have any BPT specific questions before I move into the budget presentation, we'll address those.
Or you're amazing. That building is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. I don't know if you know that. I taught in
realize that.
I taught in that building not 100 years ago. But staff is amazing. You know that. Hard with those kids. It's just an amazing place. Hi to Jill Trubia. Believe it or not, Jill was in my 2nd grade class in that building. So anyway, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Mr. Crabtree.
Anyone else on this portion?
Mr. Crabtree always makes it a pleasure to present, right? All right, so the budget presentation, not as exciting as I always say every year, like that one is totally left to me, but we'll try to make it as exciting as possible for you guys. So as a reminder, we are 4410 inclusive preschool program, special ed, and our budget operates very separately from the K through 12 district budget, which is why we present at this time of year. If you want to go to the next slide, the funding that we show comes really from these 4 main sources. The first is the state and county funded tuition reimbursement rates that comes for our special education students. We are anticipating a 2.9% increase this year, and the tuition rates are noted here. The second area is our UPK funding through our collaboration with the district. So we have some students in our full day classrooms, and we also have some students that come 5 days a week in our half day afternoon classrooms. Those would have to be 4-year-old North Syracuse students. The third area would be our parent paid tuition. And that would be for general education students, including students that either come from outside of our district or for 3-year-old students that attend our program. And also for 4-year-olds that if parents choose not to send them the full 5 days a week, a 2 or 3 day option is available for them, but they would pay tuition for that. And then the fourth area of revenue comes through different federal grant funding. So the 611 and 619 SEDCAR process that's noted here comes from all 14 districts for those students. We also receive grant funding through the CPSE process. So any staff members that are specific to the CPSE process are funded through that grant. And then the Title I funding, as was mentioned, for our social worker. And also we receive some revenue through doing evaluations. Thank you. I don't want to hit the wrong thing. All right, so this slide shows our revenues that we receive, and it's estimated for this current school year. And it includes our special education students. It includes the general education where parents pay the tuition, and also the UPK tuition. So you can see, oh, actually, and it also includes our summer tuition. So you can see that our anticipated revenue is just over 8.4 million. And just to note that this only includes the tuition revenues, that there will be future funding included in this that would be the grant funding. So that's not included in this total. This slide represents the expected expenditures that we anticipate for this current school year. And you'll see that those are just over 9.4 million, which is about a 7.5% increase over last year. And most of that increase is due to some increased staff members to support IEPs. The pie chart that I bring to each year really is just a representation of those same expenses, but it notes that the majority of our expenses, over 90%, are specific to salaries and benefits for instructional staff or people that work directly with students. So kind of to sum it up, some of the things that are in progress or being worked on. 2 years ago, our state education department had allocated $2.5 million to study the rate setting methodology, which was really intended to streamline and improve timeliness of tuition rates. But what they did was extend the survey, not the survey, but the study. And we are still waiting. That's kind of been pushed out to 2027. So we don't really know, the outcome of that, but really the expectation is to allow preschool special education programs to continue to provide higher quality programming and not really have to worry about the funding process every single year. So we're hopeful that in 2027, there may be some positive outcome that would come there. Our tuition rates were just recently certified for the 23-24 school year. And really that means that they were just finalized. So we're always operating a couple of years behind us, even though we're spending the money now, right? So we're hoping that they'll kind of catch up with this new methodology study, that we won't wait years after the fact to be confirmed that that's how we would be paid. And you can see that we are anticipating a 2.9% increase from state ed. But as you know, our increases for staff and the inflation rates are more than that. So 2.9 sounds good because we've had years where it's been 0. So yes, it continues to be a small increase, but not enough to keep up with the cost of doing business, right? So we also continue to be in this state of crisis, both for special education services and mental health supports at the preschool age, because it's really new territory. There aren't enough supports across our county and across our state. So we continue to deal with that shortage of related service providers, students on wait lists for services that carry over from one year to the next year, which is really a terrible place to be. And we have prioritized North Syracuse students over the last few years. So we've turned away other districts in order to be able to accommodate our own students and make them a priority. And we have had to continue to increase our therapy staff in order to meet those IEP needs. And then in general, really, I would just note that our fund balance has been shared with you all, and we do anticipate somewhat of a deficit, but don't exactly have that exact number due to the grant funding pieces that haven't come. But any type of shortage we feel like would be covered with our fund balance. So that's all I have for the budget presentation, and happy to answer any questions. Okay,
Thank you very much.
all right. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move into the comments from the audience section of the meeting, and we do have someone here this evening. So I'd like to invite Tiffany Duquette up. Welcome. Reminder,
Members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tiffany Duquette. I am the parent of a first grader at Bear Road Elementary, and I am also a public school educator. I'm here today because I am concerned about the lack of parent involvement at my child's school. Bear Road Elementary has historically had many opportunities that supported and fostered parent engagement. After speaking with many stakeholders, including the building principal, current and former parents, as well as multiple staff members at Bear Road, I discovered that communication regarding parent involvement has been inconsistent. At times, I was told teachers decide individually, and at other times, I was told teachers that participation is not encouraged. While there may not be an official policy regarding parent or prohibiting parent involvement, there is an unspoken practice and a school culture that deters families from supporting classroom learning. And there's inequity across the district regarding parent involvement in schools across the district. I want to be clear that the PTO at Bear Road is phenomenal and plans wonderful events. But nearly all of the PTO events happen outside of school hours and in the school parking lot with zero access to restrooms or to the school building. While these community events build connection in the school, they do not create the academic links that are between families and teachers that drive student learning. New activities should not replace school-sponsored and in-classroom experiences that let families share their knowledge, support lessons, and celebrate student learning. Our students need to see these home and school connections. Families bring a wealth of knowledge and real-world experiences that enrich learning for all students. Research is clear. Family engagement is one of the strongest predictors of student success. When schools and parents work together, there is better behavior, students attend school more regularly, and they achieve stronger outcomes. It also builds trust between teachers and families that support learning over time. Elementary school is that critical window to build those habits and relationships, as we saw in the previous presentations. Alternatively, a culture that isolates teachers and schools from families sends the wrong message. It can imply that education and learning are not a priority. As an educator myself, I respect teacher professionalism, ever-present safety concerns, and the need for equity across classrooms. I'm not asking the district to mandate classroom practices. My request is simple and practical. I ask the board to direct district leadership to provide and publish clear family engagement guidance documents for all schools that affirm family involvement. Encourage principals to communicate these guidelines to staff and family, and provide simple, inclusive event templates and safety procedures teachers can use to make these activities easy to implement. After reaching out to speak with the board, I was contacted by Dr. Amanda Vale, the Director of Elementary Education. We had a very productive conversation, and I truly believe that we both, as well as the entire community, want to see our schools and families working together. I look forward to seeing what we can accomplish together with the support of each of you. Our students benefit from home and school connections when they work together, and let's make that partnership clear and consistent across the district. We owe it to our children. Thank you.
With nothing to discuss at the next policy committee meeting, we're going to postpone until January.
Crabtree.
I want to thank everybody around this table, everybody in the audience, and anybody at home that took the opportunity to vote on our capital improvement project for OCM BOCES. This is going to make our program even better. More and more students, as I said before, are involved in CTE. Our enrollment is going up like this. Unfortunately, our public schools are going down. Thank you to everybody around this table. Thank you, Dr. Ward, for your support and for all the publicity. It was a really successful vote. At open houses at all our buildings, Crown Road, Innovation Tech, STARS, all of our campuses in Cortland on November 19th, and all the parents and children was wonderful. We have hired a new director, and
yeah, thank you. I just had a couple of quick things. The first one had to do with this weekend. For those of you who don't know, we hosted the New York State Athletic Association Championships at our stadium, and I'd like to publicly thank Tim Bednarski, but also our grounds custodial staff and facility folks for doing an amazing job. At one point this weekend, I got a text about a before and after photo, and our field was covered with snow and our bleachers were covered with snow. And, hours later, they were playing football, on our fields, and parents were enjoying the playoffs. So I just want to, again, that is not something that every district can pull off. But our district has not only the people, but we also have the equipment to be able to pull something off like that. So we should be really proud of that. The last piece I just wanted to mention, I was actually able to do a little TV interview this evening with Channel 9 about snow days. And I just want to say to parents out there, have a plan. I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow. The snow day calculator is up to 96%. But as I reminded Channel 9 tonight, the only person that can really predict that with 100% certainty is the school superintendent. So, but yes, just have a plan, have a backup plan, because you never know. And it's now December. Thank you.
Do we have any board comments?
Just like to say, it's probably been a while. I got to see the new auditorium full blown. I got to see Clue, which the kids did an awesome job at. It was a very enjoyable show, and it's really impressive, the auditorium, the way it's set up now. Just a great show. Thank you.
Dr. Ward talked about, I had the chance to go to the stadium because my best friend's grandson played for Brighton, and they won, and they're on the way to the Dome. But exactly what Dr. Ward said, the people that worked, not only the ground crew, and Tim was there, I mean, it was pouring rain, but all the parents that worked refreshments. So, I like to go up on the third floor, Mr. Crabtree, and up there were a lot of broadcasters from all over the state that were producing the game in Buffalo, in Ithaca. And they couldn't say enough about the facilities up there. We have a great group of kids that run that. And then there were people from other schools that said, this stadium is amazing. We love it. So thanks to Tim and his whole group.
All right, Bridget.
So our Spirit Week at CNS was very good. There was a lot of people uh participating. Thank you, Josh. Our Pages Pajama-rama fundraiser went amazing. I saw a lot of people wearing pajamas and a lot of people donating as well. I don't have the exact number for that yet. We're gonna get that probably in about a month or so, and I'll share that with the board. I wanted to talk about the start of winter sports. I know boys basketball has their first game on Wednesday, and the boys swim team has their first meet also on Wednesday. I will talk more about this at our legislative meeting on Wednesday, but in the following week, we are going to start our student voter registration campaign at the high school to get more people registered to vote so that when they turn 18, they can vote immediately and don't have to worry about registering. So more on that to come. Thank you.
Very much. Into routine action items. Motion to take items A and B together as a group. Mark and Mandy, all those in favor? Item C, consideration for our preschool students. Do I have a motion to place that before us? Paul and Josh, any questions? That's unanimous. Thank you. Discussion action items. Item A is approval for an extra classroom account for the North Syracuse Junior High School Chess Club. Do I have a motion to accept that new group? Mr. Schuzda and Mark, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Next is a resolution to abolish and create a position. We will be abolishing a 1.0 FTE Director of Special Education and creating a 1.0 FTE Director of Pupil Personnel Services. Do I have a motion to abolish and create that position? Crabtree and Josh, any questions or comments on this? Favor? Okay. Next is a resolution to accept Section 75 recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution as submitted? Mark, any questions? All those in favor? Retirements. If Lessa, reading teacher, is retiring with 21 years of service. Linda Earl, an elementary teacher, is retiring with 26 years of service. Shannon Knapp, a special education teacher, is retiring with 28 years of service. Anne Marie Leaf, an elementary teacher, is retiring with 20 years of service. Nancy Smith, a reading teacher, is retiring with 9 years of service. Wendy Tracy, a speech therapist, is retiring with 33.5 years of service. Christine Waterbury, a science teacher, is retiring with 33.8 years of service. Scott Wright, an elementary teacher, is retiring with 33 years of service. Sally Jo Delfa, a school nurse, is retiring with 24 years of service. And Cindy McCreary, a physical therapist, is retiring with 29 years of service. So we're losing quite a bit of knowledge here. And as always, we all wish you a long, happy, and healthy retirement. And thank you for your dedication and commitment to our school, our kids, and our community. Do we need executive session before personnel? Do I have a motion to accept Personnel Report A as submitted? Paul and Mandy, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? One abstention. Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept Support Staff Personnel Report B as submitted? We have Josh and Paul. Any questions or comments? Favor? That is. And Administrative Personnel Report C, do I have a motion to approve that as? Josh and Mark, any comments, questions? I'm going to make a motion to move into executive session to review one personnel matter with no action to follow. Do I have a second? Josh, all those in favor? Thank you.